I'm 92. I stopped doing favors, and now I don't exist anymore. Let me explain. It started with a phone call, a small one. My neighbor's grandson needed help with his history homework. It was 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. The phone rang in my quiet house. I just looked at it. I didn't pick up. For the first time in my life, I let it ring. I felt a strange quiet after. Not guilt, just empty. That was the beginning of the end. You see, I was the guy who always said yes, my whole life. I learned it young. I was 9. Summer of 1941. Mrs. Gable, our neighbor, asked me to return a library book. I was building a fort. I said no. Just a quiet, "No, ma'am." My mother made me take apple pie over as an apology that night. The favor got done anyway. The lesson stuck. Refusals are debts. You always pay with interest. That lesson built me. In my 20s, I was the designated driver, the handyman, the one who listened. At the factory, I was the union rep, the party planner, the form filler. My wife, Eleanor, she used to joke I had "yes" tattooed on my soul. She was my break from it all. Our home was my quiet place. When she died 10 years ago, the floodgates opened. The favors weren't just for friends anymore. They were for everyone. My son David's friends, my granddaughter's soccer team. I was the errand runner, the spare key holder. I liked the buzz. It kept the loneliness out. But your body quits. By 90, my knees were shot. My eyes were bad. I couldn't drive at night. The request just changed. Just a quick ride in the daylight, Ed? Can you just call the insurance company? You're so good at it. The buzz faded. I was just tired, deep in my bones. I felt like a ghost already, a function. So when that phone rang for the history project, I broke the rule. I didn't call back. For 3 days, nothing happened. No calls, no knocks. I thought I'd won. I'd set a boundary. On the 4th day, I went to the store. Mrs. Gable's granddaughter, Chloe, works the register. She always says, "Hi, Mr. Ed." That day, her eyes went right over me, like I was a can of soup. I said hello. She looked past my ear. $12.47, she said, to the air. My blood went cold. It wasn't mean. It was like I wasn't there. Then my son called. Not for a favor, just to talk, I thought. He asked about the weather. He asked about some TV show. His voice was nice, empty. He never asked why I didn't help his friend. He never mentioned the garage sale I always run. After 10 minutes of nothing, he said goodbye. It was a shell, a chat with all the useful parts taken out. I checked my email. The community newsletter I forwarded for 10 years, someone else was doing it. My name was just gone. I tested it. I went for a walk. People's eyes slid away right before they'd meet mine. Porch talks would pause, then start again after I passed. I called the library. I've known the librarian for 30 years. She said, "Can I get your name again, sir?" I told her. My voice cracked. She said, "I don't see an account." Cheerful. Final. I drove to my old factory. It's a tech park now. The guard was a kid. He said, "No record of you, Pops." My history was erased. I figured out the rule. It's simple. Consumption without contribution. I was a contributor my whole life, a part of the machine. By saying no, I became a consumer. I took time, attention, space. I gave nothing back. The town, it's like one animal. It sensed a dead cell. It didn't hate me. It just walled me off. I was being forgotten. Favors are the ticket. No ticket, no show. I tried to fix it. I baked a pie. Eleanor's recipe. I took it to my neighbor, Janine. I knocked. She opened the door. Yes, she said, like I was a salesman. I thrust the pie at her. I thought you might like this. She looked at the pie, then at me. Mild confusion. Oh, thank you? She took it. Her smile didn't touch her eyes. Well, have a good day. The door closed. Soft click. The pie was accepted like a flyer. A transaction with nothing. With no one. That night the silence got heavy. A pressure. So I did this. I set up this camera. The lamp is too bright, but I need to see my own face. I need proof I'm still here. This video is my last favor. Not for them. For you. For anyone who feels the weight of all those yeses. I went over the wall. I'm the scout. And I'm telling you, the other side is empty. It's just silence. But I have to tell you about the light. After the pie, I sat in the dark. I don't turn lights on much. For a ghost, it's a waste. But in that blackness, a silver light started in the corner. Not from anything. It glowed on its own, like moonlight in the air. It's been getting brighter. As I fade from their world, this light grows. It's peaceful. It asks for nothing. I think it's the light of not being needed. Maybe I'm not disappearing. Maybe I'm finally arriving somewhere. So learn from me. Be useful. But build a room inside yourself where you have no function. Practice saying no to small things. Tend your own light. Because the moment you stop, they will stop. The machine is heartless. It will replace you. It's replacing me right now. Look at me. Remember my face. My name is Ed. I am 92. I was here. This is my testament. Now you choose. Share this. Let it be a warning. Or delete it. Keep the cycle going. The next time they ask you for a favor, think of me. And decide. And decide. You see, I thought that was the end of it. My warning. My little light in the corner. But it wasn't the end. It was the start of the real quiet. The phone stopped ringing for good. The mail was just ads. I'd sit by the window and watch the world go by. Kids on bikes. Janine getting her paper. Life, but with me outside the glass. One Tuesday, I needed my pills. I drove to the pharmacy in the daylight. I stood at the counter. I've known Phil, the pharmacist, for 20 years. He helped Eleanor at the end. I waited. He was helping a woman. Then he turned. His eyes looked right through me. He turned back to his computer. I cleared my throat. Phil? Nothing. I said it louder. Phil, it's Ed. I need a refill. He didn't look up. The woman left. He started counting pills for the next order. I stood there. A man in line behind me said, "You going to just stand there, buddy?" I moved. I felt hot and cold. I drove home shaking. That night, I tried the TV. My favorite news channel was just static. Every channel. Just snow and hiss. I turned it off. The silence was so loud it hurt my ears. I looked at the silver light in the corner. It was brighter. It pulsed, soft, like a slow heartbeat. I wasn't scared of it. It was the only thing that seemed real. I thought about my son, my David. I had to try. I picked up the phone. I dialed his number. It rang and rang. Then a recording. "The number you have dialed is not in service." My stomach dropped. I tried 3 times. Same message. I found an old birthday card with his address. I got in the car. I drove across town. It took an hour. My hands were slippery on the wheel. I found his house. The lawn was neat. The curtains were open. I saw a woman inside. Not my daughter-in-law, a stranger. I knocked. The woman opened. "Yes?" That word again. "I'm looking for David Miller," I said. She frowned. "No one here by that name. Sorry." She closed the door. I stood on the porch. I felt dizzy. The world was rewriting itself, erasing my connections one by one. I was a pencil mark they were rubbing out. I got back in the car. I didn't know where to go, so I went to the cemetery, to Eleanor. The grass was green. I found her stone. I traced her name with my finger. "Eleanor," I whispered, "I think I'm lost." I sat there for a long time. The sun was warm. A groundskeeper drove by on a little cart. He nodded at me, a normal nod. For a second, my heart jumped. He saw me. But then I knew. He was nodding at a grieving old man at a graveside, a prop in a scene. He wasn't nodding at me. He wasn't nodding at me. I drove home. The house was cold. I went to my bedroom closet. I pulled down a box. Old photos. Me and Eleanor on our wedding day. David as a baby. Me at my factory retirement party. I spread them on the bed. I looked at the faces. My face. I looked happy. Useful. I picked up the retirement photo. I'm holding a plaque. The guys are clapping. I stared at it, and I realized something. I couldn't remember who took the picture. I couldn't name half the men smiling beside me. They were just faces, props in my scene. The cost hit me then, the full price. I'd traded all of myself for those moments. I'd been a function in their lives, and they'd been proof of mine. We were all just using each other to feel real. I'd built a life of transactions and called it love. I put the photos away. I sat on the edge of the bed. I felt empty, clean. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just sad, for all of us. The machine had eaten everyone. I was just the first to notice. I was just the first to notice. And here's what I learned, sitting in this chair, looking at that strange, quiet light. I was wrong about love. I thought love was being useful. I thought showing up with my toolbox or my car keys was the same as showing up with my heart. When Eleanor was sick, I was a whirlwind of usefulness. Doctor calls, medication schedules, pillows fluffed. But the moment I remember now, the one that aches, wasn't any of that. It was a Tuesday afternoon. She was in her chair by the window, just looking out. She was in pain. I couldn't fix it. I felt so helpless, so useless. I started to bustle around, looking for a chore. She reached out, her hands so thin, and she just held my wrist. She didn't say, "Do something." She said, "Just sit with me." And I almost couldn't. The silence of just sitting, of not doing, felt like failure. That was the mistake. I confused action for connection. I built my entire worth on what I could provide, and I forgot to offer who I was, to her, to David, to myself. So my advice, especially if you're my age, is this: start failing. Fail to be useful. Let the phone ring. Say you're tired. Say you don't know how. The world won't end. It might just begin. Because in that empty space you create, something real might finally show up. A conversation that isn't a transaction. A visit where no one needs a ride to the airport. It's terrifying, I know. The silence after you say no feels like a verdict. But it's just a room. And you have to sit in that quiet room long enough to remember what your own thoughts sound like. Don't perform. Just be there. For them, yes, but for you first. Tend to your own light, the one that doesn't shine on any task. That's not selfish. That's the source. You can't draw water from an empty well. You still have time. Maybe not years, but now is enough. This moment, right now, is enough. Look at my face. I'm 92. The machine has finished replacing me. I'm a canceled subscription. But this light in the corner, it's not scary. It's soft. It feels like Eleanor's hand on my wrist. It feels like the peace of finally, not having to earn my place at the table. Maybe this is what's left when all the doing is done. Just being. Maybe I had to stop existing to them to start existing for myself. I think that's the hope. Not that you'll be remembered forever, but that you'll know yourself completely, even if it's just for one quiet moment before the end. This is where I leave you. This video is my last message in a bottle. If it found you, it's because you needed to hear it. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel the weight of all those yeses piling up on your chest. So do this for me. Hit subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Not for me, but for the part of you that recognized my story. Let this channel be a reminder, a little tap on your shoulder when you need it, that you are more than your usefulness. Give this video a like. Let it be a quiet signal, a flare in the dark, so others who feel this way know they aren't alone. Leave a comment. Tell me, what's the one small favor you're going to stop doing this week? Just one. Let's start a list of our tiny, beautiful rebellions. But most importantly, share this. Send it to the person who came to your mind while I was talking. The one who never says no. The one who's always first in line to help. Don't send it with a lecture. Just say, "This made me think of you. How are you really?" Be the person who asks the question that has no practical answer. My name is Ed. I am 92. I stopped doing favors, and in their eyes I vanished. But in this silver light, for the first time in a very long time, I can see myself perfectly. You have a choice. You can keep the machine running, or you can step away, sit in the quiet, and see what light begins to grow in the corner of your own room. The next time they ask, think of me and decide.